Hi everyone, I'm Laura. I'm going to show you how to crochet these tulips. So I found these tulips in my garden and I looked them up and they're apparently called Tulipa agenensis. I probably said that wrong, but oh well. So if you've never crocheted before, take a look at my videos about how to do single crochet and how to crochet in the round. If you like the written version of this pattern, it's on my website. I'll leave the link in the description. So you're going to need double knit yarn in green, yellow, black and red. You'll need a 3mm crochet hook, a stitch marker, a yarn needle, scissors, and you also need some florist wire. So the thickness is 18 gauge and it comes in a standard length of 36 centimeters. You also need some florist tape. So this is crepe paper and when you stretch it, it becomes very sticky. So you can see the petal, I've started it in black, but because black doesn't show up well on the camera, I'm going to show you it in green, but you would be doing it in black. So we're going to start by making a slip knot. And we put our hook in it. So row 1, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. So we'll have 1 stitch. So row 2, we're going to chain 1, and this is our turning chain, and we're going to turn the work, so we're looking at the back of it, and then we're going to do an increase in that stitch. So an increase is 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, so we'll have 2 stitches. So row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn again. So we do this at the start of every row. And we're going to increase in the next 2 stitches so that we'll have 4 stitches at the end. And you can count the V's to count your stitches. So row 4, we chain 1 and turn. We're going to increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to increase in the last stitch. And we'll have 6 stitches at the end of this row. So row 5, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to chain 4, and then we're going to slip stitch in that same space where the single crochet is. So push the hook in, yarn over and pull through, and then pull that loop through that first loop on the hook, and that's a slip stitch. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and as we finish the last single crochet we're going to change to yellow. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we push the hook in the stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then instead of finishing that we're going to take the yellow and pull through a loop of yellow through both of those loops on the hook, and that finishes the single crochet in green and changes colour so that the following stitches will be in yellow. So row 6, we chain 1 and turn, and we single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then we chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch in the side of the second black chain. So in this case it's green, but we're going to turn it round so that we can see the front of the chain. And then just slip stitch in the side of that. And then we chain 2, and we single crochet in the next stitch. And then we single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and as we finish that last one we're going to change to red. So we pull through a loop of red through those 2 yellow loops on the hook. So row 7, we chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to be working in the front loops. So this is the loop which is closest to you, and this is the loop which is furthest away from you, so that will be the back loops. But we're going to be working in the front loops for this row. So we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to single crochet in the front loop of the next 2 yellow chains. So it's just the side of that chain there. So there's 1. And there's the second one. And we're going to ignore the slip stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the front loop of the next 2 yellow chains. And then we're going to single crochet in the front loops of the next 3 stitches. So we'll have 10 stitches at the end of this row. So now we can cut the black tail and the yellow tail because we don't need those anymore. So just cut it the same length as the red tail and the other short tail. Row 8, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. We're going to single crochet in the next 8 stitches, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. And we'll have 12 stitches at the end of this row. So I'll just show you the increases at the end, and I'll speed up the middle bit. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done this. So row 9, we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then we're going to do a single crochet 2 together, and then we'll single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and we'll have 11 stitches at the end of this row because we're decreasing by 1. So I'll just speed up the 5 stitches. So to do a single crochet 2 together, push your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then push your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And now single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. Row 10, we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to increase in the next stitch, then we're going to single crochet in the next 9 stitches, and then we're going to increase in the last stitch. And we'll have 13 stitches at the end of the row. So again, I'll just speed up the middle section just to show you. Row 11, we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, then we're going to increase in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and we'll have 14 stitches at the end of this row. So rows 12 to 14, that's 3 rows. We're going to chain 1 and turn. I'm going to single crochet in every stitch, so just maintaining 14 stitches in each row. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. Okay, so I've done those 3 rows. You can count your rows like this. So count from the one after the yellow row. So row 15, we're going to chain 1 and turn, then we're going to do a single crochet 2 together. We're going to single crochet in the next 10 stitches, and then we're going to do another single crochet 2 together. So then we'll have 12 stitches at the end of this row because we're decreasing by 2. So I'll just speed this up just to show you. So after this round, we're going to continue in this pattern doing a single crochet 2 together at the end of each row. So decreasing by 2 each row. So now we chain 1 and turn, and I'll just show you the first single crochet 2 together of this next row, and then I'm going to leave the instructions on the screen. So for this row, we would single crochet the next 8 stitches, do another single crochet 2 together, and then we'd have 10. So I put the instructions on the screen for row 16 to row 19, and you can pause this video and meet me back when you've done that. So just done all those rows, and now row 20, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to single crochet 2 together twice. so that we've just got 2 stitches remaining. So now we're going to leave a tail just long enough so that we can weave it into the back of our stitches, and cut the yarn and fasten off. And now we can tie these short tails in a knot. So I just tied them in one single knot. And then we can thread that tail onto our needle and weave it through the back of the stitches on that last row. And then go down to the row below it and weave in the opposite direction just to make it a bit more secure. And you can do it a third time if you'd like, in the opposite direction. Just make sure you don't pull it too tight, and then cut the yarn close to the edge of the work. And then we're going to thread these short tails through our work as well. So I'm weaving it through the yellow row. And same with the other side. So we're going to have 6 petals in total. So after you've done this, you need to make 5 more. So we're going to leave that black tail from the slip knot because we're going to use that for sewing later on. Okay, so I've made my 6 petals. And now we're going to make the base in green. So round 1, we're going to do 6 single crochet and a magic ring. And just take that short tail out and put it by the side. And then we do all of our single crochets under both of those strands. And you count the V's to count your stitches, and pull tight to close the magic ring. And then we put our stitch marker in. So round 2, we're going to do an increase in every stitch, so we'll have 12 stitches at the end of this round. I'll just speed this up just to show you. And take the marker out and do our last increase. So round 3, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch, and we're going to do that 6 times, and we'll have 18 stitches at the end of this round. So I'm just going to show you the start of this, and then I'll leave the instructions on the screen for the remaining rounds. So there's the first 2 sets, and just continue around until you do your last increase where the stitch marker is. So I'll leave the instructions on the screen for rounds 4 and 5. You can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. Okay, so I've done all of my rounds now, and I've got 30 stitches. So round 6, I'm going to do a slip stitch in every stitch. and we'll still have 30 stitches at the end. So you can pause the video and I'll meet you back when you've done that. Okay, so I've fastened off and I'm going to turn it so the wrong side is facing me. I'm going to thread the black tail onto my needle. I'm going to line up the end point with the middle where the magic ring is. It can help to use sewing pins to just pin them in place. And then I'm going to pick up green loops and I'm going to go through the edge of the black stitches. And I'm going to sew up this edge just on the black. And then when we get to the top, I'm still just going to sew the black, so I'm not going to sew the yellow down. And then we go down the other edge. And then to fasten off, we're going to find a black loop. I'm going to go through it, but not all the way. We're going to leave a loop and then go through that loop from behind and pull tight to make a knot. And then weave that end through underneath the black piece. And that just curves up like that, and that's what we want. So now we cut the yarn close to the edge of the work, and you can use the end of your needle to hide that end. So now we're going to take the second petal, and for this first layer we're going to sew 3 petals on, and we're going to leave a gap between each one, so a green gap, so we have 3 in this position. So now for the second layer we're going to position the remaining 3 on top of these ones like this. So we thread the tail onto our needle, and we're going to line them up, and then we're going to go through the side of one black piece, and then we're going to go through the side of another black piece that's already sewn on, and then through the black piece on our petal. And then when we get to the top, we're going to use those green loops again. So just going in a straight line below that chain 4 part on the black, so the bit that sticks up. So when you get back to the middle, just fasten off in the same way, and then sew the other petals on, and I'll meet you back when you've done that. So now we're going to take our florist wire, and we're going to measure 5 centimeters from the end. I'm going to bend it at that point. So just bend it at a right angle for now. And then we're going to push that through the magic ring on the green part, so in the middle where we sewed all those petals on. And then bend it so it's close to the main piece. And we're going to push that through a space which is near to the next round. And pull that all the way through. Now we're going to weave these green tails in. So I've got one more tail just because I had to change to a different ball of green wool. So then we're going to use the end of our needle to push those green ends in to hide them. Now we're going to cut a length of yellow yarn, about 40 centimeters long. I'm going to thread that onto our needle. And we're going to tie 3 knots close to the end, all on top of each other. And then we're going to weave through the space between the green piece and the petals and come out where the magic ring is and just pull that through until it gets stopped by the knot. So now we're going to make 3 lines just for the stigma part of it. So we're going to weave through that black piece. And then come through the same point. And then do 1 up the top. Come out underneath through the green piece. And then we're going to find a loop nearby to fasten off on in the same way as we did before. Pull tight and weave through. And then cut the yarn close to the edge of the work and push that end in. So now we're going to take our florist tape. I'm going to hold those 2 ends of the wire together. I'm going to start wrapping it around tightly and we're going to stretch it, and that will make it become sticky, which is what we want. So we're going to move it down at an angle so that it goes down rather than just wrapping around the same point. So we're going to do this all the way down the length of the whole stem. And then when we get to the bottom, we're going to leave about 1 inch of tape and we're going to cut it at an angle. Then we're going to take our green yarn and we're going to start several inches from the end, and we're going to start wrapping this around very tightly so that we're not leaving any gaps. And the stickiness of the tape is going to help the wool stick to it. So you can just tuck that short tail at the start in the petals if it helps. So I'll just speed this up, and I've got to the end now. I'm going to cut the yarn, leaving about 1 centimetre, and then I'm going to wrap that remaining tape around that same point several times until we've wrapped all of it around. And then you can trim the excess yarn. And now I'm going to take that green tail and I'm going to wrap it around just to cover any remaining tape that I might have missed. And I'll thread it onto my needle, and I'm going to go through a green stitch nearby, and then I'm going to go through another one and fasten off in the same way. And then I'm going to weave that through to the middle and cut the yarn and hide that end. And now all that's left to do is rearrange our petals, because they do tend to curl inwards, but once you've arranged them they should stay in the same position. And then all that's left to do is display them in your favourite vase. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you'd like to check out all of my other flower tutorials, I've got a playlist. If you'd like to share a photo with me of your tulips, I'd love to see it. You can tag me on Instagram at Laura_Wilson01. I also have an Etsy shop where I design and sell crochet patterns called Laura Wilson Designs. I'll leave the link in the description. If you like this video, give it a like, let me know in the comments, and please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.